Hey, it's Edge here. Today we're taking a look at technical analysis for Nasdaq with Elliott Wave Theory. So let's get into it. Starting today on 4-hour time frame and looking at the scenarios from the all-time highs around 16.9k. We had a couple of different ideas. One of them was that we had this as a WXYXZ. Again, the pattern itself is very much more rare, so this is the reason why I'm not really liking this too much. There is, of course, potential for this to be the case though. In this scenario, we would have already completed the structure here into these lows that we currently had around the October 14th or 13th. Then we would have a three-way structure up and then another three-way structure here and potential another three-way structure, creating some kind of complex structure over here. Either starting the correction of this correction, creating a later correction that would be looking like that, or this whole thing would be the correction, correcting basically this structure upwards, and then we would get another partner leg for it downside to the downside next year basically. Then we had the other more common structure that is the basic WXY into the lows of June, and then we had again the same two options that we've had on the US indices, where this was either a three-way structure on its own, completing basically a correction of this structure here, and then we would be getting basically a partner leg for this structure over here, or again that would be, or this scenario here where we would have this as the wave A of that said correction, and this would be B and then C. At the moment the C does not really look good. We have one scenario where it would end here, and that would be the end of wave X. Overall, it does not look good at all, but it does hit the 0.618, again, the minimum target we would have for it. So yeah, that is that. Again, I'm not playing these very high time frame structures. I'm looking to create the buying and selling opportunities inside here and during the 1 hour to 15-minute time frames. So I don't really care overall which one of these is going to be playing out. But it's good to acknowledge the possibilities where the market might go, especially on the higher time frame. So at least you would have some kind of higher time frame bias. Again, the other one was that, again, this was that three-way connector wave, and then we would have a connector or continuation of previous trend to that wave Y here overall, creating this as a complete structure and expecting a 5-way structure here, as this can be counted as 5 waves. So that is that. Let's check out the more local structures. 15-minute time frame is not good enough. 1 hour probably should be good. So here, one of the scenarios is that we had a diagonal here, a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Third here is the largest, which is not the most typical on diagonals. Some might say that it is breaking rules. That is more often than not in very much more lower time frames that we can see this kind of extension happening on third. Generally, we would want to see this rule basically as a rule and not just a guideline where the wave 1 would be the largest. Of course, if we break these, we can confirm that this was an ending of something. And at this point, if we have this 5-way structure, we end it at these highs of 12.24k and not these highs here, 12.35k. This is giving us an issue where the next structure starts actually with an expanded flat here instead of anything else. So either this is a connector on its own, creating us a structure like this, or this is the start of a connector on its own, creating something like that. And then we would be getting a partner leg here. So those are the options for this kind of count. Then we had a couple of different bearish counts where we were correcting up higher with a 3-way move like so. ABC looks decent here. One of the other options, if we want to be having this as the high, we would be creating this fourth into these lows here of around 7th of December. And the fifth would be something of an expanding diagonal. Again, very much more less of a likely scenario because, again, the expanded diagonals themselves are really rare, and the wave 4 would be very, very much larger than the wave 2 here. Even at the current structure that we have here, the comparison between these two is already a bit out of proportion. So if we would have to shift the wave 4 into these lows, it would be quite the difference in my opinion, and definitely not really balanced. But just wanted to let you know that there is an option like that as well. In this scenario, however, we would be labeling this wave W up in here, ABC like so, and then we would be looking for this wave Y here as as basically a partner leg, a three-way structure here. Yeah, that fits, and it's not too out of proportion either, the way we label it like this. Then the other scenario, base scenario, is this one. Again, instead of wave W being at these tops here, we would shift it one leg left and have this as an ABC instead. Have some more of a more balanced, I guess, ABC here. The issue with this one is if we see these WX1s here, we are comparing it basically to the next structure over here, we can see that these are minuet counts and these are micro counts. Micro counts are again 2 degrees lower than the minuet count. So again, that is making this less likely, because again, the generally we want to be seeing higher degree counts or higher degree structures being larger than the lower time frame ones. So that is giving us, or this is giving these counts less likeliness, right? This is the way we need to be labeling this, because again, the only 5-way structure we can clearly see is this one here. And also we have this on here that we have to be treating as that expanded diagonal, like in the other count that I just mentioned. But again, we have taken out these lows here, in here. So this has to be an end of something, and the only way we can place there is this kind of ABC. And that forces us to have this as the wave A if we want to have a continuation for it downwards later on. So that is the reason why I got this option at all. So we got quite a few different options overall. We have less probable counts that are starting from here downwards. The better looking ones, in my opinion, at this very moment for Nasdaq at least, is the ones that we have an expanded flat here. Now let's get into the smaller time frame and get some of the issues that we have with the smaller time frame as well out in the public knowledge. So as we know, this definitely feels like a 5-way structure coming down. The issue with this one is that we did not have a divergence between here. That is the reason why I'm labeling this as a wave 1 of 5th and not the 5th, because we did not have that divergence here. This is giving us more strength that, okay, there is quite a bit more strength coming down again than the previous moves. Generally, the third of third should have the highest amount of momentum behind it. At this point, it does not, and often that is a sign that we are going to be having an extension on 5th. If we are comparing third and first here, we can see that we did go beyond the 1.618 here already, but did not hit the 2.618. So there is of course a possibility where both of these are somewhat extended. It did not extend again to the second level, but it did go beyond the 1.618. So not the best setup, but again, it's still possible that we are getting some kind of extension here. These are some of the targets that we have: 0.618, around 10.6k, and 1-to-1 extension. Again, this is comparing the 0 to third to the 5th from the pivot of wave 4. So 10.6k or 10.2k, give or take a few tenths. At the 0.618 extension, we would have already be taking out these lows. So we would, if we are starting some kind of structure like this, we would be creating a expanded structure where we could get a very much of an extension here in the form of C wave. Of course, we would need to be looking into this and see the divergence and all the signs that are saying that, okay, we might have a reversal here, and then going for long setups here. But again, nothing is certain of that yet. At the moment, on the very much more lower time frame, I'm looking at a potential short setup here. There is on the very small time frame here, if we are looking at it, we could be saying that we have this as a 3-way structure like so. Again, we had a structure coming down here, So I do think that this has the best look of having this as a three-way structure. This is very much a sideways structure. We are getting some kind of price and RSI compression or contraction here, so there is a chance that we have some kind of triangle here. Not really sure how it fits though. There is a chance that we would have this as a connector. This could be labeled in 3 waves. It is not perfect, and I don't really like to go into this low time frame here on the indices, because again, they are not very good looking. The structures here, most of the structures are way better looking in crypto in my opinion, but yeah, that's that. Generally, I would want to take out these highs if I want to be going for short setups. 1-to-1, if we had this structure here in the middle as a connector, connecting this structure into the next, basically from here, 1-to-1 would be around 11.2k. That would be the same area where we have the golden pocket at the moment of this move. So that is that. What do we have there is this order block here, this very small order block around, I think it was 15-minute order block, maybe even 30 minutes. Let's take a look. Yeah, 15 minutes. So what else we have there is some kind of area of support and resistance. Here it acted as support, basically coming into that zone area for a few times, and here we consolidated a bit in there before we jumped more downwards. We have taken out the previous order block here already, so we'll see if that is going to give us any kind of resistance, or if we are going to just blow through it, if we are even going to get there. Again, a lot of ifs, but if this happens and we are going to get up higher into these areas, I'm definitely going to have a potential area of shorting here. If we take out these highs again of this current wave 4, we can confirm that this structure is completely over. At that point again, we should get some kind of information on RSI as well, taking out these previous highs on one of the time frames, that okay, this is definitely ending. But that might take some time, and at that point we could still be in the correcting mode of this whole thing here, and then later on continuation in the downside. But of course we can take a look at that later as well once the structures develop more. But I think that is going to do it for this video. If you made it this far into the video again and would like to support me, there's a Patreon link on the description. And if you want to be learning more Elliott Wave, there's a basics course in there on the Patreon as well. If you haven't learned the basic patterns and such, it might be somewhat of a helpful thing to use. But yeah, thanks for watching, and see you on the next video as well. Bye bye.